Sorry to interrupt your conversation, but we also have a class to take care of. Does everybody have a book or the PDF? Feel free to keep eating while we're talking, as long as you can pay attention. I was about to ask you.
Well, I used the PDF last time.
Okay, so what page did we end up?
We were on, I thought we were finished the Ramadan and back. Hold on.
Yeah,
120.
it just makes sense. It's just good business.
So you can sit with us. You sit with them every day.
That's true. I do sit with them every day.
Yeah,
You're right.
come on, yeah, with us.
She actually doesn't sit with us every day
That's also true. I don't sit with them every day.
because we're all making iftar at different places usually.
All right. So 176. All right, 177. All right, 178. On the PDF. So on the book, we're gonna use.
So we talked about what we're required to do in Ramadan, right? We talked about why. Did we talk about why we fast? Everybody go to Jummah today. Anybody? There was a really good khutbah at ICVA. No, I'm on next week. But he talked about how there's two aspects to fasting, the spiritual and a physical aspect. And a lot of times we focus more on the physical aspect of fasting, which is not eating and drinking. And we're very cognizant about that we shouldn't eat or drink no matter how hungry or stuff we are. But we forget the spiritual inward actions of fasting when we get angry or, when we're going about our day and doing what we shouldn't be doing. So while there are exceptions to the physical aspects, for example, you're sick, you don't have to keep a fast from food and water because you're sick or you have a medical condition. Those are exceptions, but there's no exception for the spiritual aspects and the behavioral aspects of fasting.
So what you're saying is, with those exceptions, you don't have to physically, fast, you can eat and drink, but you should still act accordingly.
You should still, it's the month of Ramadan. We should always be on our best behavior, but in the month of Ramadan, even more so. And just like when we consider that if I eat something during my fast, it'll ruin my fast, invalidate my fast. Sins, missing prayers, gossiping, backbiting, all this stuff also invalidates your fast. Because we mentioned the hadith that the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, for the person who doesn't leave ill speech and bad actions during their fast, that Allah has no value in him staying hungry and thirsty. So that's just it. He's just staying hungry and thirsty. It's not a fast. He loses his reward. So this is something we definitely have to be cognizant of, is the spiritual aspects of fasting.
I have a question. So if say you made a mistake, right? And you got upset, you just make a wudu, or you made a mistake and somewhere in there, and you want Allah to still count the fast. Is there something that Allah said that you have to do to get back on?
There's no specific expiation. It's just repentance and continuing and not repeating those actions over and over again.
But if you intentionally break your fast, you have to fast for 60 days consecutively.
No, it depends. Breaking your fast meaning food. She's asking about actions, right? Yeah. So sinning and stuff like that would not necessarily invalidate your fast. Your fast still counts as a number. It's not like you have to make it up again, but you probably lost a lot of the reward. As far as breaking your fast intentionally, if one were to break it with food and water, then it's a major sin to do so, of course, but you don't have to make up one day. If somebody breaks it with sexual intercourse, then that's 60 days. Did that answer your question? If somebody breaks their fast, it's if they break an obligatory fast, right? The fast of Ramadan, then what if it's because of eating or drinking or anything like that, then they make up that day. But if somebody broke the fast because they had sexual intercourse during the time where they were supposed to be fasting, then they must fast 2 months in succession, 60 days completely, or feed up to 60 poor people.
Is that per incident or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fasting is not something we should be playing with. We really have to, it's something important, and we need to make sure that we honor it. It's only one time of the year where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires this of us. And it's something that we should really focus on. This is why I encourage people that if you have PTO and want to take it, especially towards the end of Ramadan and Eid, do so. This is a good time to, it's a good way of, making sure that that you can stay up in the night, because the nights of Ramadan are the most valuable. So if you can stay up the night or part of the night and pray or read Quran or make dua, make supplication, then that's better. And we'll talk more about the last 10 nights next week.
I have a question for you. When you go to, how when you go to July, you're supposed to be on wudu. You're supposed to have taken your ghusl and stuff like that, right? And I had to work. And then after I got off work, I had to pick up the daughter and then go home and then change.
It's not
And
obligatory.
then I didn't go because I was like, I don't have time to get in the shower. And so
So ghusl is not obligatory.
it's not.
It's not obligatory, but you should not miss it if you can. Now, if somebody's in a circumstance where I can't go home and make ghusl, but ghusl means like a bath, a shower, and we're supposed to take a shower before we go to the congregation on Friday. If somebody can't and it's time to go, then just go. It does not invalidate your Jummah. Huh?
You can still get the blessing?
Yes, it does not invalidate your Jummah. All right. So now that you've been fasting for a week or so plus, right? Any questions on it? Jaden, what's the purpose of fasting? Yes. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may become righteous. Taqwa has a number of meanings we talked about last week. What are some of the meanings of taqwa?
Is it consciousness?
Consciousness of God, righteousness, taqwa means more fear, piety, righteousness, and consciousness of God. So, there's many opportunities throughout the day where we're alone and water and food is available and we're hungry. But we don't do that. We don't break our fast because we know that we're doing something for the sake of Allah and He's watching us. And why would we break our fast? So the same way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us during our fast, He's watching us throughout the whole year. So just knowing that and practicing your life based on that, it should bring you closer to Allah, knowing that He's watching us. That's a relief in a lot of ways, right? Because our supplications don't go on deaf ears. We worship a God who hears us. And if you're doing an act of worship, whether it's in the dark of the night, he still knows what you're doing. And I often give the example that he hears us in any language. And he even hears those who don't have a language. You know, for somebody who's lost their voice or doesn't speak or is nonverbal, if they in their heart invoke Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still knows it. So this knowing that God is watching us, knowing that God is there, gives us that relief, that confidence that no matter what hardships we're going through right now, it's in his knowledge, and that relief will come from him. And it also should make us conscious when we're doing something that's wrong. You know, if I'm approaching something that's sinful, I know Allah is watching me the same way he was watching me when I didn't take a sip of water, the same way he's watching me if I'm doing something sinful, if I'm lying, if I'm cheating, if I'm backbiting. He hears and sees all of it. So that's one of the purposes of the month of Ramadan, of fasting in specific, is that it should build this framework of piety in our lives. What else? What else is important for us in Ramadan? There are secondary benefits like empathy with the poor. There are health benefits. There's communal benefits of, making iftar together and being together. So there's also a number of other benefits as well, which we would call secondary benefits. But if somebody were to ask you what the purpose of fasting is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran is to gain taqwa, to gain righteousness.
I think like the reward is doing it, right? Like the purification is like you doing that is purifying you, so that is the reward.
That's part of it. But it'll also be rewarded on the day of judgment differently, with an amount of reward, with sins forgiven, with other things for people who were really focused on their fast and really tried to do their best. You can get another chair if that one's not working.
I thought one of them was that so that you could be able to abstain, meaning like when we're not fasting, to know the limits and to know the cutoff. And the reason why we as Muslims know the cutoff and stay far away from those gray lines, right, is because our fast teaches us how to respect those limits.
Yeah, well, that again is part of righteousness. When Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was asked, he was one of the major companions. He was asked, "What is taqwa?" He mentioned that, like, if you're going through some bushes and it's really like thorny plants, so that if you're wearing something loose, then you would try to gather your clothing and make sure it doesn't get caught on the thorns. He said, "This is taqwa. The thorns are the sins, and you're just trying to stay away from them." So, again, that falls right into what the purpose of fasting is, to gain taqwa. What else, besides fasting, what else is important for us in Ramadan? Okay. Good deeds in general. I'm looking for something specific, though. I'm abstaining from sin, reading the Quran. There's a deep relationship between Ramadan and the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran." The month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed. And we mentioned last week that the first revelation that was given to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was in the month of Ramadan. The Quran was revealed over a period of 23 years, but it started in the month of Ramadan. So one way to understand Ramadan is like a month-long celebration of the Quran. So we should take time out to read. If we go into the night prayer in the masjid, they're reading the Quran, listen to it, and try to build a relationship with the Quran as much as possible. Because the Quran is the word of Allah, and it's there for our guidance.
Did it end in Ramadan as well? The last revelation?
No. It started in the month of
Sorry,
Ramadan.
but when did it end?
It ended between Zulhijjah and Rabi al-Awwal, which is the 12th month of Islamic calendar and the second. So it was the third month, between there. But no, it did not end in Ramadan, no. What else?
Going to visit a sick person.
So good deeds in general, right? Good deeds in general. These are all great things, but the two things that stand out in the month of Ramadan are fasting and the Quran. Not to say don't visit sick people or other things like that. Definitely do. But these two things are where we need to put a lot of focus. And supplication. The third thing is supplication. Make more supplication. Yeah, making du'as, supplicating, repenting. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, who was the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asked him that if I find the night of decree, and we'll talk about that in a second, what supplication should I make? And he taught her the supplication, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni, that, oh Allah, you are the one who forgives. You are the most forgiving. You love to forgive, so forgive me. So asking forgiveness is another main act of worship in the month of Ramadan.
And just to be clear, we can only make dua at a certain time. No. Never mind.
Make dua at any time of the day.
But prayer, like if you want to do sunnah prayers, they can only be done at a certain time. Correct?
You can, generally speaking, you can pray any time of the day, except for the few specific times, which are like right at sunrise, right at sunset, and right at high noon. Other than that, you can pray pretty much any time. There's no, especially during the night, you can pray at any time of the night, all night if you like.
I have a question about Fajr. So it comes in the third part of the night, so around 3 o'clock in the morning. But if it's before Fajr, right? And is it still Fajr time too?
Like up to Fajr.
Right up until the dawn of Fajr, yes.
For this one, I heard that 20, like around 30 to 20 minutes before Asr, like when the sun is a yellowish color and you can look into it without causing harm to your eyes, that's a disliked prayer time as well.
It's a dislike. It's not forbidden, but we shouldn't be. If you don't have a reason to pray at that time, you shouldn't. But if somebody had a reason to, they can. Like for example, they enter the masjid, or yeah, generally speaking.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you count, I feel like the last third of the night, you start from Maghrib, right? From Maghrib to Fajr, and then you divide that into 3, and then the last third of the start of the night.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be what?
So what is Maghrib is about 6 o'clock, and Fajr is about 6 o'clock. So about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, so 1:41 a.m. That's not right.
Yeah.
That's not right.
So no, the question.
I was close.
All right, so let me repeat the question. She's asking when the last third of the night is. So it's more preferred to pray in the last third of the night. There's more reward at that time. You can pray at any time of the night. It's all good. But the most reward is in the last third. And probably because that's the hardest time to pray, because it's just a really awkward time.
The last third of the night.
Like from 2 a.m. until Fajr.
Mine
Yeah.
said 1:41. My app says
Wake up an hour.
Okay, I mean, we're splitting hairs. It's about 2 o'clock.
So she had the calculation is you take five to Maghrib, and then you take five, you add the hours, divide it. And then you have to- So as it changes, because the time is gonna go back and forth.
Okay. Abdullah, what's the date today, Hijri date? Today is the? No, this was the 10th fast, right? So right now it's the 11th. So 11th, 18th will be next Friday. 19th, 20th. So Monday, next Monday will be the last 10 days. All right. We can only have one conversation at a time, please. The last 10 nights of Ramadan are even more rewardable than the rest of Ramadan. Because in those last 10 nights is the night of power, Laylatul Qadr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr, that the night of power is better than 1,000 months. So trying to worship on that night is the best night of the year to worship. Now, we don't necessarily know exactly when that is. But when we combine the narrations, it's usually one of the odd number nights of the last 10, which will be, and I want you to write this down.
In case somebody was wondering what the moon.
Okay. That'll be Monday 9th the 9th, Wednesday the 11th, Friday the 13th. So that's 25th. Then Sunday the 15th. No, wait, hold on. Monday, the 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 21, 23, 25. Hold on, 25, 27, 29. It's not working.
No, there's not nothing.
Today's the 10th. Today's the 11th night.
Today's the 11th night. Is that you're sure about that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the 10th.
So that means next Friday will be the 18th night. 18th night. All right. And Saturday will be 19th. Sunday.
The 8th is Sunday, would be the
21st night is March 10th. 21st fast, it's March 10th.
so the 21st night is March 9th.
Hold on. Am I even in the right month? Okay. March.
March 9th is 20th fast, 21st night, which is a Monday.
Yeah, but he's
Right.
saying-
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
You're right, you're right.
So how is Eid going to be on?
I'll let you know.
If it's 29 days, then it is on the 20th.
Okay. All right. I think I know what I'm doing wrong here.
You said, well, how come? It's on 20th, right?
21st, 23rd,
So it's last
25th,
9th,
27th, 29th.
9th of March.
Yeah, the night of the 9th of March is the 21st night.
Yeah.
Is what it's-
Okay. Yeah. So one thing about me is during the month of Ramadan, my brain just goes in a different direction sometimes. The brainy parts don't work. Like a couple of days ago, me and Abdullah were looking for my car keys. They were in my pocket the whole time. And I wasn't even wearing a thobe. I was wearing jeans. And they were right there. So my brain is not braining. So we got this. The 9th. So the 9th we're starting?
Yeah,
The
the 21st.
21st night is Monday the 9th at night after Maghrib. After the sun sets, that's the 21st night. And then The 23rd is Wednesday, the 11th, and Friday night is the 25th. The 13th. Yep. Okay. So Friday the 13th is the 25th night of Ramadan.
The 13th?
Yeah. Then Sunday the 15th is the 27th night. Tuesday the 17th is the 29th night. All right? So those are the ones you really want to try to focus on. And like I said, if you have PTO, take it the next day. So if you stayed up the night, you can sleep during the day. Yeah, we'll put reminders in the group as well. But this is a good way. If you have it written down, if somebody wants to take time off or just kind of make up their schedule and stuff like that, they can do that. So those are important nights to worship. And if you go to the masjid, you'll know as well. They have extra prayers, probably at like 2:00 in the morning that you can join in. It's encouraged. It's a good thing to go to the masjid at night if you, whatever masjid is local to you. They'll be doing the Tarawih prayers. It's an extra prayer. Nobody has to do all of them, but it's something good to participate in. You'll hear the Quran read in a very beautiful way by the different imams, and that's something inspirational and special.
The weirdest part is that you can be in there crying and you don't speak Arabic.
Yeah,
But and it will, your face, you can't, and you'll be crying. I always say, and you'll be bawling. Because you can feel it's doing something behind your face and your heart. All of you feel like.
and then when you start understanding it, you'll feel a connection to it even more. When you start actually learning the words in Arabic and understanding what is being said, then the Quran is something, the more you study it, the deeper it gets. The depth of it doesn't end. All right. Any other questions? I want to wrap up in the next couple of minutes so people can make it to the masjid on time.
What does the words, Eid al-Fitr mean?
Eid means festival. Fitr is the same word as iftar, right? So the festival of breaking the fast. So on Eid al-Fitr is right after Ramadan. We're done with fasting, and that's the celebration of it.
There's another Eid.
Yep, Eid al-Adha, which Adha means sacrifice. So that's the Eid on where we sacrifice an animal. Festival of sacrifice, yes. Any other questions? Guys know everything? You don't need me? You don't have any other questions? Always. Done? Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
So when it's eat time, right? Can we go together? We plan for that? And then can we live?
That's crazy.
Well, I'll bring you. I'm gonna try to do it one more for me.
I will be paid.